this lens is too long. Oh, last second. What's up, guys? Welcome to a first sunrise episode in a while. Actually, sunrise was a few minutes ago, but I came out hoping this morning that there were going to be some better clouds and more interesting stuff, but it didn't happen. That's okay, because mostly I came out to film this video, so let's jump right into it, actually. Today, I've got a lot of questions from you guys, especially after I did what's in my wildlife bag. So if you want to know, like, if you're new to the channel, I shoot a lot of different types of photography. If you're new to the channel, this is kind of a weird video to come in on, but I appreciate it nonetheless. So yeah, I shoot a lot of different types of photography, wildlife definitely being one of them. So I have a whole separate gear list for the types of gear that I use for wildlife photography. You can check that out. So, but today is landscape photography because I'm definitely also a landscape photographer, and I got a lot of new stuff lately over the past 6 months to a year. And I figure now's a good time to bring it all together and talk about what's in my landscape photography bag. So there's one tree right there that's like half turned, and this is why telephoto lenses are important. I don't know if this will work. We'll see. Sometimes things look cool up here and they don't look cool in here. All right, so let's go over first, I guess we'll say, let's start with the bag, shall we? And then we'll go over what's in the bag. So this is my landscape photography bag, and it is the Shimoda Explore V2, which is hands down the best bag I have ever used in my entire life. And I have a lot of bags, and I've used a lot of bags. This is my favorite. So I have a whole video gear review on this bag. If you want to see the ins and outs of it and all that stuff, you could check that out. But for now, let's start with the camera gear and get that out of the way, because to me that's kind of the most boring bit of it. All right, so first and foremost, this guy right here, R5, Canon R5 with the RF 100 to 400. That is my absolute favorite combo. This is my favorite camera. This is my favorite lens. I also have many videos on both, including a very in-depth review, long-term review of this guy, the 1 to 500. Okay, next up, R6 and the new RF 70 to 200 F4 version. And I love this F4 version because, I mean, come on, look at that. Look how tiny it is. It's ridiculous how tiny and lightweight this is. And for landscape, for landscape, I don't usually require 2.8. And for landscape, I usually require hiking. So this is a super light, super amazing setup. If I don't want to bring the 1 to 5 and I need some sort of reach still, then I will definitely go for this. Also, this thing is also just ridiculously razor sharp. So I love the versatility of the 70 to 200. Anyways, oh yeah, and it's on the R6. Did I mention that? So the R6 is great. All right, next up, this beautiful little lens. This is the RF 35 1.8 macro. I bought this lens mainly so I could use it for the channel, and because Brittany said she wanted something fast and light, and we just weren't really, when we bought it, we weren't really thinking, you know, this is the first like non-L lens that we've bought in a really long time, and we weren't really thinking that much of it. And then of course I bought it and knowing that, you know, I would do some reviews with it on the YouTube channel, and it's cheap, you know, it's like $500 or $600, relatively cheap compared to, you know, this other gear. But it turns out this is one of both mine and Brittany's favorite lenses, like, of all time. Like, we have ended up using this so much. And I mean, Brittany uses it a lot for her portrait work and her studio work. She does a lot of studio stuff. And I use it for a lot of time-lapse stuff, a lot of landscape stuff, because it's so light and it's so easy to have in the bag always. And I use it for, surprisingly, for a lot of astro. And I did a review on this for how well it does for astro. Spoiler alert, it's not the best lens for astro for a few certain reasons. However, those reasons don't really bother me personally. So I still use this a lot, actually, and for astro, and I absolutely love it. And it's just, it's so light and so small. It's just so easy to keep in the bag. All right, next up, let me put on, let me put this on, and I will film, because the other stuff that I use for landscape photography a lot is being filmed with right now. So let me take off the lens cap so that I can see. Okay. So here is what we have. This is, whoa, I need to fix this. All right, hold on. Let me change my depth of field. Not everything has to look artsy and beautiful, beautiful bokeh, right? Sometimes we want to see what we're doing. Okay, so this is my 16 to 35, my EF version on my RP. So that is something that I use a lot. That's a combo that I use a lot for landscape photography and also for time lapses. I think I'm gonna do a separate video for all of my time lapse gear. There's gonna be a lot of overlapping gear with the landscape video, but there's enough extra gear for my time lapses that I didn't want to carry it with me. So maybe I'll get into that. But if you don't know, I do a lot of time lapses, like a lot. So that is one of my big bread and butters for my business, is time lapse photography, and I do it a lot. So the RP is actually still to this day one of my favorite time lapse cameras of all time within the Canon realm. Because if you haven't noticed, I only shoot Canon. The EF 16 to 35, what I'm filming with that I just showed you, is probably like one of my most used bread and butter landscape lenses and time-lapse lenses. And I say that because it's just, it's super, super sharp. It's small, compact, comparatively speaking. It's got everything I need. The sun stars that come out of the 16 to 35 are some of my favorites of all time, and I love my sun stars. And so that's the only EF lens that I still have that I haven't gotten rid of. So yeah, the RP, the R6 and the R5, those are my cameras. That's all the gear, that's all the lenses that I use primarily. Honorable mention for the 800, and that's, I did a landscape photography challenge with the 800 millimeter at White Sands. If you want to see some interesting stuff, you could check out that video. It's kind of cool. But I use it, you know, for the moon and stuff like that. And it's super light and it can fit in my bag. There's that word again. You guys, seriously, you got to stop me from doing that. It's morning. That's all I'm going to say. I need breakfast. Let's get into the actual bag, and I will show you what else I have in here that I shoot with. I should put some caps on some of these things. I'm not very good with caps, lens caps. I'm trying to be. Okay. Next most important thing for landscape photography is probably the tripods, huh? I was gonna say filters, but I think most people would say it's the tripods. All right, we'll start with my favorite tripod. Okay, sorry, the autofocus, I'm looking at the, it's getting brighter up there, darker down here. It's difficult. This lighting is going to be very difficult to deal with here in a few minutes. Favorite tripod. This is my favorite tripod. This is the Colorado tripod, Centennial, I believe it is. I haven't done a full review on this yet. I'm gonna do a long-term full review. This is my favorite tripod that I've ever owned. It does have a few issues or quirks maybe, but to me, the benefits that I've gotten from this tripod far outweigh them, and I would get it again and again and again. So this is my favorite overall tripod. I just realized I've recently lost all of it has the spikes, you know, but it has the covers for them that you can set them on but I don't know where those are. I lost them. All right. So this is nice. It's medium sized. They call it a travel tripod. I guess compared to some larger tripods, it is a travel tripod, but it's on the bigger side of a travel tripod. It's a little over 3 pounds, I think. And this is the Aspen ball head. So that's one of Colorado Tripod's new fancy ball heads. And again, when I do the full review, I've done a couple of videos actually. I did one, I think, when I first got this, and I was testing it out, that had a little more detail on that. But that's my main go-to tripod. And then, my other main go-to tripod is, let me get this back out. So I'm filming with it right now. That is this guy, and this guy is a very old Velbin. I don't even know, it's like an El Camino something, with this super old 3-way pan tilt head. And this thing is just beat to hell. So I can't even, yeah, it's a Velbin something, but you can tell, like, I have beat the crap out of it. All right, so that's my second main tripod, and they actually don't make it anymore, and I've had it for like, since 2010, I think. So 11 years I've had that thing, and it's a monster, and it's carbon fiber, and it's light, and it's small, but it's big enough to do what I need. It's just an amazing tripod, and I haven't seen any reason to upgrade to anything fancy except for my new, except for the new one that I use. But I didn't upgrade from it. I need multiple tripods because multiple cameras, because I do a lot of crap at the same time, if you guys haven't noticed. All right, next up is this guy, and that is the Mi Photo Backpacker S carbon fiber edition. So this thing is super tiny, super lightweight, even more lighter weighter than all of that stuff that I have. And when I need to just be ultra lightweight, I take this. I also take this because if you guys are not new to my channel, then you'll know I do a lot of stuff with the phones, and this is a great tripod for the phones. And on that note, you don't have little things like this that go for all my tripods, no matter what I'm using, but it has a Arca Swiss hot shoe thing that just goes right in there for my Arca Swiss heads for the tripods, and then I can do my phone stuff, because 3 cameras often when I'm out and about is usually not enough, and I'm always wishing I had more cameras, so I use my phone. And that's it for tripods. So we'll go next down the list of important stuff. We'll go with filters. So I have this awesome filter case from Shimoda, and none of this video is sponsored, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but this is just all of the gear that I used. If anybody wants to sponsor my channel from any of the gear that I use, in the words of His Lordship Hardcastle, get in touch. This is my filter case, so I just have a ton of random filters in here. I have, most of the filters I use are breakthrough photography. They've definitely been the best that I've ever used for me. So I have like my dark 6-stop circular polarizer with, well, it's a, oh my God, I can't talk. The sun is coming up now. It's about to get real bright. It's a 6-stop CPL ND. So it's got a circular polarizer and an ND built in together, and I absolutely love that. And then I have, oh, this one's for Astro. This is the magnetic breakthrough thing, and they just kind of like click on the magnetic. But this is the night sky filter. This is a breakthrough, what is this? Oh, this is just the regular circular polarizer with no ND built in. So that is just regular circular polarizer. And then the main, oh yeah, this is the, so this is the magnetic thing I was talking about. And I've done some videos with these. I haven't done like a complete full review, but you've seen them probably in a lot of videos, and they're nice. They come out like that, and they just click in, and I can switch out the thingies, and then I have the little rotating thingy there for the magnetic part. So I like those a lot. I've been using those for quite a while. And then here's another one of the magnetic, which is another 3-stop circular polarizer ND. So various strengths. Here comes the sun. Oh my God. Okay, there we go. All right, so those are my main filters. I have one more set, I guess, that I'll show you just for the heck of it. So I have these. So these are the breakthrough. There's a car driving by, surprisingly. So these are the breakthrough, and they do a very good job at. This is a 3-stop soft grad drop in, and then this is the Casey thing for it that you slide on. So I actually don't use these for landscape photography, and I've made a lot of videos about why that is, but basically it's because I would rather bracket and do it in post and get a nice even, or not get the wonky lines. I don't mind doing it in post. That's all I'm trying to say. All I'm trying to say here is I don't mind taking the extra time to bracket and do it in post and get a better result. But what I do use these for is time lapsing. So when I'm setting up a time lapse and it's sunrise or sunset, or the light is just really harsh in the sky, and I don't feel like editing the time lapse like super hard, you know, doing HDR time lapses, it kind of sucks. So I have these for when I want to do time lapses in really changing light or dynamic light conditions. Okay, so that's filters. That's all super important. Let's try to wrap this up, because it's about to get real bright. You know what? Hold on a second. Let me take off my mic here. So, all right, well, I finally get to wear my flannel. I just bought this flannel, and I absolutely love it because it's super comfy, and it's flannel weather. Well, it's supposed to be, but it was 50 something when I left my house this morning at 6:30, 6 something this morning. It was like 50 degrees still. Then I get up here 10 miles away from my house in the mountains, and it's 31 degrees. But otherwise it's been in the 70s and 80s and not flannel weather at all. So I get to wear my flannel, and I'm very happy about that. It's the little wins in life you got to take. All right, so I'm sorry, I'm looking at the screen now because I really got to start watching my exposure, because the sun is like now right in my face. This is super important for landscape photography. This is my hat. Many of you know it. It's getting that time again. This is what I've been waiting all morning for. We're about to get into this. Pop-Tarts, very important. I don't know if you know this about me, but I never go anywhere without food. Landscape photography, also important, is we have some lume cubes. Again, not sponsored, but you know, just a variety of different lights that I use to light things up, mostly for night, mostly so I can see, but also, and a lot for astrophotography. I think I will also do a separate video on what's in my astrophotography bag. Again, there's enough different stuff that I use. There's a little bit of overlap, but there's enough different stuff that I use for astro that we'll talk about at a separate time. Headlight, super important headlight. I think what I need to do real quick, I'm gonna reposition you so that I'm not blind. And so, let's see, so I know this looks a little wonky and that is super blown out and I'm not, but this is just what we're gonna have to do to deal so I can finish this video. All right, what else do I have in my bag that is landscape important? Ibuprofen. I have a lot of body problems. The Navy was not kind to my body. Many things are broken. Ibuprofen stays. Highly important. Oh, I have these adorable little, look at this. These are the moment filters for my phone. And they just go right onto my case like that, and bam, I have phone filters that you can't see right now because I'm such a horrible job with lighting. Anyways, those are my phone filters, like, you know, in case I want to do like some long exposures of waterfall or whatever and don't have gear for some reason. I don't know, you just never know why you need filters. If I want to film something on my phone, those are there. USB battery pack. It's always good to have a little power pack that can charge. It can charge my batteries if I need to, my camera batteries, but it charges like my mic things, my cell phone, my lights. You can charge my lights, anything. My time-lapse gear, we'll talk about that. It's mostly for time-lapse stuff. I'm gonna wrap this up. That's been a long video, so sorry about that. But hopefully that gives you a good idea into my landscape photography world and the kind of things that I use. Future Brent here. I was just packing up and I forgot to mention the last thing that's usually in my landscape photography kit that is in my car right now, the story of my life, is my drone. And the drone is the Mavic 2 Pro with some filters. I just have the moment variable ND filter for it. It's like the best thing ever. I love the drone for the landscape photographies and for everything else that drones are amazing for, but that's the last thing, the drone. Anyways, if you have any questions about any of the gear that I talked about, or like why I have anything versus not having something, leave those in the comments and, you know, I will definitely answer them. Just a lot of good stuff on the channels coming up and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to fall and winter, testing out some new lenses, some new gear, and getting out and staying out. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, that was ridiculously long for first thing in the morning for me. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next episode, hopefully somewhere awesome. Trying to do thumbnails by yourself, it's like the worst part of being a YouTuber. That's my life.